So good evening, everybody. It is me, DemetraKAye, and this is the DemetraKAye Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. I'd like to say a big giant thank you and welcome to my co-host, Donovan, a recovering Democrat, Saadiq. He is my partner in crime, my right-hand man, and all that other stuff. I'd like to say hello and thank you to YouTube and Facebook, the other side of the conversation, and I should say Twitter as well, because I am streaming on Twitter. You all are not just viewers, but you are participants, because we do read your questions, comments, and concerns. Also, I'd like to say a big giant thank you to Marcus Guyton for everything he does behind the scenes on Facebook to make the show go further. And today we are going to be talking about two things. Well, in anything else y'all want to talk about, we're going to start off with two things. One is a Karen who is demanding reparations, and I'll tell y'all why in just a minute. It's kind of funny, but, you know, I'm going to ask a question behind it. Also, we're going to do a recap of the Ralph Warnock and Herschel Walker debate that took place on Friday, where, you know, it was kind of surprising and, you know, some things like that. So, of course, we'll get into that. So who do we have on here? Miss Moni, thank you for being early. How you doing? The original man, what's going on with you? I'm going to explain it. Thunder, what's going on? I see Gertrude and them let you free. And Michael, how are you doing today? Tawana, what's going on? And Monet. All right. So Donovan, what say you before we get started?
Hey, I want to say it's Sunday and it's DemetraKAye. But before I get started, I just want to say, how about them Cowboys? 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Watch America's team once again continue to roll through anybody that gets in their way. I got my classic Tony Dorsett shirt on. And again, I'm a Cowboy fan, but I don't expect them to go to the Super Bowl. They'll probably be bounced in the first round. So that's my thing with the Dallas Cowboys. But do us a favor, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Really, it's more important that you guys really share this on your platforms with your neighbors and your friends, because a lot of people are just in their basic bubble of their living, and they're not paying attention to what's going on. So real quick with the Ralph Warnock and Herschel Walker debate, right? Both of those guys aren't for reparations. So do you see what I'm saying? But a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a Democrat, whatever. We'll get into that. But you could also subscribe to DemetraKAye so you can get notified when Demetra drops those really great videos. And Demetra, I wanted to tell you that was that last video you did that I saw was excellent. We'll get into that after the show. But again, when it's Sunday, you know you're dealing with DemetraKAye. So let's get into it. Hello, everybody out there, Moni and all my usual suspects. Welcome to the show.
And yes, just so you women know, Donovan is still on the auction block. He is still available for those who want to date him. The bidding price is starting at, I'm going to raise it a little bit, to $6. All right. So anyway, who else came on here? Did I say hello to Jay Bubba, Chantel, Brother Damon, how you doing? Jan Michael, what's going on? Melvin. And once again, you say, I thought Cap said the NFL is racist, yet this guy is supporting the NFL. Well, you know, what can we do? We'll get into that conversation as well. I said, we're here for about 2 hours or so we're going to have a loaded conversation. We can talk about all of that. All right. So today I was looking for something to talk about. I was like, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about that. Then I happened upon the news and I saw that a white woman, let me put her up here on the screen. And I should say too, guys, if I start to freeze, y'all can hear me again. It's Houston janky internet, but we're going to keep our fingers crossed that I'm good. So anyway, this lady is named Dr. Sydney Watson. Okay. So this was like 5 days ago or so. And she says, I am currently literally wedged between two obese people on my flight. This is absolutely not acceptable or okay. If fat people want to be fat, fine. But it's something else entirely when I'm stuck between you with your arm rolls on my body for 3 hours. And then she goes on to say this. Now, y'all, of course, can see who, you know, she took a picture of. And actually, it wasn't her, but I'm going to continue reading her thread. So she goes, I don't care if this is mean. My entire body is currently being touched against my wishes. I can't even put the armrests down on either side because there's no effing room. I'm sick of acting like fatness to this extent is normal. Let me assure you it's not. I'm so effing mad. I don't even have words. If you need a seat belt extender, you are too fat to be on a plane. Buy 2 seats or don't fly. I said to the man, hey, we can swap seats if you like to sit together. His sister is on my left. He says, no, that's okay. And then I started shrieking internally. Then the good doctor goes on to say, I'm going to try and ask the nice Eastern European man behind me to sneak a photo for me. I'm sure this scene looks absolutely absurd. It'll probably make some of you laugh. Flight attendant has asked me 4 times if I need anything. He's giving me this, the quote unquote, this is effed pity expression. I'd like some free alcohol, please. Then it goes on to say that now she was on American Airlines, I should say, and she goes on to ask for reparations. In fact, let me find it. I thought I had that up here, but I don't. Let me open it really quick. Toward the end of all of her shenanigans, she tweeted, where'd it go? One second. I hate when these articles have to load. Where did it go? Okay, so she says, after all the, she got all this media coverage and stuff for her obviously being a horrible person. She says, I stand behind everything I said, and I'd like some reparations, please. Okay. So she wants reparations. I don't know if she wants it from American Airlines or if she wants it from the government. I should say that she is Australian. She is, I guess, a YouTube personality and a TV personality in Australia. Seems like she's on the right of things because I went on her Twitter page and, she has some tweets where she's making fun of Black people and, just some of the right-wing rhetoric, if you will. And so as I was reading it, I'm like, now, has reparations become a joke? Because is she serious? Is she joking? And if she's joking, has our plight as Black people, especially in America, become a joke at this point? Because as you guys know, we have, and reparations, and I like to always say this, reparations is not new, okay? We've really kind of been hearing it uptick in the last couple of years or so, but it's always been around really since that of 1865, 1863 or so, right after slavery. So, but we've seen heard a lot of people ask about reparations. We're asking it from the United States government, specifically from that of the Biden administration, since they are Democrats and Black people predominantly vote Democrat, and so without Black people, Democrats could not get in office, and so we have seen them help everybody else. So, of course, we're really ratcheting up the conversation about reparations. In fact, we have a whole host of groups that are going to Washington. I think one with this weekend, or they're going today or yesterday, a march on Washington, I guess, to demand reparations. I don't know if it's a march or it's a demonstration or what it is exactly. But so you have a lot of people that are asking for it, but then you see this white woman who is saying she's demanding reparations. And so I'm like, is she joking? Is she serious? But I tend to think that she's talking about us as Black people because look who the arms belong to. Those are Black arms, right? And so it's like, are you demanding, are you being funny and demanding reparations because the people are obese? Or are you doing it because they are Black? Needless to say, there's a lot of people on Twitter taking her to task, but there's a lot of people who, are agreeing with her and things like that. So I want to ask y'all, has reparations become a joke to everybody else? Donovan, what say you? And I'm going to get to the rest of you guys' comments as soon as Donovan is done with his commentary.
Well, I'm currently trying to talk to once again on the thing. Thank you for your comments and stuff. And, we could get that in the comments. I'll respond to that. But in regards to the airline business, as you know, Demetra, I am very experienced in the airline business. Again, somebody did make it think that's a one-time incident in the airlines, and the airlines do not have to compensate you. People are getting bigger. She could buy a seat specifically if she does not want to be wedged into a certain seat and all that other stuff. So good luck with that. But the funny thing is, I think it's more blatant racism that what she's pointing out, for the mere fact that she's wedged between two Black people. It had nothing to do. If that was two white people, I don't think she would be saying what she is currently saying, because would she deal with reparations if she was wedged in between two white people? No, she's pointing out the mere fact, and a lot of these racists are coming out and they are emboldened to say what they really want to say, like Tommy Tuberville said. He doesn't specifically say Black people, but everybody knows what he's talking about. So now you've got these Europeans coming over here, down talking Black people in the way that they do, to like prove a point. Because what she's not telling you, in Australia, the Aborigines were treated really, really bad, and they won a United Nations sanctum, and even in their parliament, where now the Aboriginal lands have to go back to the Aborigines. And if this lady's from Australia, which was started as a prison colony, that isn't really the greatest type of British people, descendant British people, that are actually there. So we can see where her racism is. But racism comes in all forms, colors, and species. Recently here in Los Angeles, we had the 3 or 4 city council members that were caught up on audio talking bad about Black people and other groups. Notice that in that president that did step down's apology, she didn't apologize to Black people. You know, they only apologize when they get caught, and they're sorry that they got caught. They're not sorry about what they do. But platforms like DemetraKAye, Brother Phil Scott, and the whole plethora of people are putting this stuff out there to let you guys know that this stuff is going on. But the question is, what are you doing individually to fight racism every day? She wants reparations. It is obvious. I don't care how obvious this, stupid this woman is. She doesn't understand what reparations is and how it works. Reparations has nothing to do with you being stuck between two people on an airline. That is not reparations. Reparations, the basic definition of it is the righting of a wrong. The righting of a wrong against a group of people. A group of people. She is not a group. So let's get into the comments. A lot of people got a lot of stuff to say. So let's see what they got going.
Yes, indeed. Kiki, you got me cracking up. So hello to everybody that came on here. And Shantae says, of course, reparations are a joke to Congress. Yes, indeed. And Honeydew, how you doing? Says, I'm Donovan. Ain't this game in Philly? Good luck with that. This city is fired up. Hey,
a real quick note for you guys that don't know. If you ever go to Philadelphia Stadium, it is one of the only stadiums in the whole NFL that has its own jail, because their fans are rabid. They will try and convict you right in the stadium.
And I should also say that American Airline did have a response to Miss Dr. Lady. They said, our passengers come in all different sizes and shapes. We're sorry you are uncomfortable on our flight. That's pretty much what they said, but it's like, come on, lady. Yeah, how did you really expect for them to respond? You want them to get caught up in a racism lawsuit or discrimination? And how you doing, Tori? And Sean, you say, I know when I came up in the 70s and 80s and 90s, no other ethnic groups would dare disrespect. A lot of our new generation are backwards. Yes, indeed. Totally agree with you. And Thunder, you say no reparations is not and has not become a joke, just as the politicians who are losing their jobs this midterm for ignoring their voting base. Just look at the Walker race. It shouldn't be this close. Yes, and we're going to talk about that very shortly because I think it is interesting. I did watch the whole thing. And Kiki says, right, Donovan. And Al, you say, to think reparations is ever coming is a joke. Black people have a better chance with Jesus returning. Wow. Tell us how you really feel. Okay. And only Pamela's way. You say, tell the truth, Donovan Saadiq. The British took the criminals to Australia, and the indigenous Black people were already there. Absolutely. And so as far as, you know, reparations becoming a joke, so I would say that it is a joke to certain people, clearly. To that woman, that very silly woman. Listen, I've been on uncomfortable flights. Y'all know I fly Spirit. So yes, it can be quite uncomfortable sometimes. But I mean, and have I been squashed in between people? Sure, I've been squashed, I guess. But it's like you just sit there. You know what I mean? Like you rant and rave about it. I mean, what do you really expect for the airline to do? You know what I mean? It's just kind of like put them in a bad situation. But, my daughter made a good point. She says most people that fly, especially if you're a frequent flyer, you can look at the seating chart and say, I don't really want to ride in the middle. I do want a window or an aisle seat. And so you could choose that. Of course, you will have to pay a little bit more, but you would get to choose nevertheless. I don't like to ride in the middle either, but sometimes I do. But the ultimate goal is to get there. But, I think to people like her, yes, indeed, it is a joke. Also, I think to Congress as well, but Thunder, you make a good point. A lot of politicians are seeing that we are not going away with wanting something for our vote. And Michael, you say Phil Scott and African diaspora to Black people abroad, please leave Africa, Europe, and other countries and come to 54 African nations. Yeah, I mean, again, that's if people want to do that. Some people, unfortunately, don't want to do that, Michael. And Brother Reggie, how are you doing? He says, greetings, global Black family. It's indeed. And Jalen, long time no see, how are you doing? He said, if the flight is full and there's nowhere else these two bigger people can sit, then you can get your skinny self up and get on the next flight. Like, so childish, I totally agree. But it's like, what was this really about? Was it because they're Black or was it because they're obese? Because I'm sure it's not the first time she sat on a plane that, is uncomfortable. Like, to me, no flight is comfortable. Even the flights going overseas, the one to Africa, yeah, you have a little bit more leg room. But I will say this, because it wasn't a lot of people on the plane, it wasn't full. Once it got up to where it needed to go, we could spread out and lay down. So most of the time flight, we had our own room. We could lay down and sleep and watch movies and all of that. But for the most part, flights aren't terribly comfortable. And let's see here. Kiki says, did y'all hear about the reparations march to Washington today? Yes, I heard about it. And I don't know. Y'all tell me how it went. I don't want to speculate. But how did it go? Because I heard that it was going on. And admittedly, on Sundays and Saturdays, I don't spend a lot of time on the internet, just kind of like empty my brain of stuff that I've seen the week before. But how is it going, if y'all don't mind me asking? It like, what did y'all see there at this reparations march? And Mike Nice, how are you doing? He says, evening, Demetra and Donovan in chat. Honeydew, you say, maybe she worried that the black seat into her system. And we are also a prison colony. Britain's prisoners and unsavory whites were sent here as well. So when you say here, are you saying in Australia? Is that where you are? Do tell. Pioneer, how are you doing, baby? He says, good evening, beautiful Black queen and king. I'm late, but I'm here. You are right on time. Y'all let me know if my microphone is muffled or too loud. I don't usually wear it this close to my face because I got a big mouth. So I tend to try to wear my microphone just a little bit lower, not to blow your eardrums out. Mr. David Collins, how you doing? He says it's more than just our vote. They understand that our mentality is changing, and that scares the Hades out of these racist politicians. Absolutely. And y'all saw that one, I guess he's a ex-football coach, college coach. What's his name?
Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah. He, came out full on racist, talking about, we're not getting reparations and, all that other stuff. But from what I understand, first time I've ever heard of him, but he is a football coach. But they said he was not illustrating any of that while he was coaching. It seems like, obviously, a lot of Black students. He wasn't talking like that. So funny now that he's not in that position, he's doing it now. And Honeydew says, Rabbit would be the Dallas owner spending his weekend at Bernie's dead self. Really? Do tell. And Jalen says, everyone knows if you like comfort buy first / business class, you get what you pay for. I totally agree. And the Pioneer says, yes, there's also a difference between Australian white people and New Zealand white people who are more from the upper classes of Britain. Got you. Michael says, I have an idea for your people to claim cash reparations, but this chat does not allow for full conversation due to 200-word restriction. I am wondering if I can schedule a session for the charge. Now, what does that mean for the charge exactly? And let's see here. You also say, okay, so you're talking to Pioneer. So, I mean, I don't know. I have my feelings on reparations. I feel that obviously it's owed to us. I would like to have it. I think, unfortunately, now, the way we are operating as Black people now, we have so many schisms going on. Y'all see that? I'm already sweating through my shirt. That is awful. But I'm hot. We have such a schism in our community to where we are just all over the place. most groups are saying, yeah, we want reparations, but then we don't get along with the other groups who also want reparations. And so people are kind of watching these things, I think, from the sidelines and saying, they're not on the same page. You know what I mean? But we need to get on the same page. Obviously, we need to follow a lot of the things that all of the things Dr. Claude Anderson tells us to do. And that's basically practice group economics, because where there is money, there is power. That's why other groups of people benefit from legislations that help them and stuff, because they are on the same page economically, and they have no problem withdrawing their support from the system if it does not acquiesce to what they want. All right, let's see here. And a pioneer says, to answer your question, the lady was absolutely trying to joke and make a mockery of the idea of reparations. They constantly do that, even when it comes to jobs and other social things. I totally agree with you. And Al says, Black lady says, I look fat. Can you give me a compliment? What? Oh, he says charge meaning per hour. Okay. I still want to wrap my head around what that means, but I'd like to have a conversation with you off of here so that I can it can be more in detail if you don't mind. Angela, how you doing? He says, no one takes our plight for reparations seriously. This country would be in an uproar if the Jews, Asians, natives' past treatment was doubted or mocked. My reparations is the return of Father God. Okay, that's very interesting. It's the first time I've heard that before. But
right, and real quick, I'm going to cut you guys off. You guys are aware the Democratic Party has come out and said they are not for reparations. You guys have heard that, right? They have made an official statement that they are not for reparations, but yet 97% of us will vote Democratic. It's just plain and simple. They are not for reparations. They have put it out on their platforms.
I mean, and even if they didn't put it out on their platforms, I mean, actions speak louder than words. They don't need to tell us they ain't for reparations. Their actions tell us that they're not for reparations. And so I've seen that. You know, it was Gail King, I think it was, it says that Democrats aren't for reparations, but we didn't need Gail to tell us that. We already knew that. You know? Okay, Al, you crazy. And Thunder says, turn on that box fan and get some iced tea. Yes, I'm actually drinking this drink. It's called Poppy, Ice Poppy. And it's a...
That looks like an old Tab can.
No, it's actually not. It's like it's a prebiotic. And yeah, prebiotic soda that's supposed to be good for your gut and everything like that. 15 calories, so I can dig it. But yes, I'm cooling off now. It's a hot flash thing, Thunder. Kiki says I'll have to get an update on it myself. I know that it was going on. Okay, so talking about the reparations march. I know that they're supposed to be FBA. They're supposed to be having one in November, if I'm not mistaken. Pioneer says white folks love trying to muddy the waters by bringing up a lot of garbage that doesn't have to do much with the subject you're breathing. I totally agree. And James, you always say preach. Oh, thank you. Big Rich, how you doing? And Damon says 20 years spent in Afghanistan would have covered reparations.
Not only reparations, it also would have paid for universal health care and paid off everybody's student debt.
Monet says, how hot is it in Texas? Are y'all about to get hit with the cold front coming in this week? We're about to get some frost and cold temperatures. As y'all can see, it's pretty hot, but it's the shirt and the hot flashes, and I was sweating running around before I got on here. But we are going to get a couple of cold days. Next week, it's going to be like 70, 66, which I totally welcome, but it's supposed to get right back hot again. So I was like,
yeah, it's about low 70s here right now. Overcast, rain yesterday. But everybody pray that Texas goes through another freeze, because that means Demetra is out of there. She's not going to tolerate another freeze in Texas.
I'll be on spirit. I surely will be. Talking about y'all good. How y'all doing? Because, I got 2 plane tickets now that I need to use. And so it'd be nothing for me to book a flight. And let's see here. Lilia, how you doing? He says, all we need to establish a foundation of legal redress to return our lineage and wealth and urgent. Okay. Pioneer says on one job I brought up a complaint about the lack of Black representation in management. And when we had a meeting on the matter, they wanted to focus on Latino, Asian, and LGBT representation too. Yeah, that's kind of how it's going. You know what I mean? They're going to appease the majority, I guess, are the ones that have the most power, and that's those people, whether they're in the majority or not, right? Damon says, shredded my November California ballot. Oh, so you're like, I'm good. Hello, Miss Beverly. How you doing? Says the Democrats want us to shut up and vote. Yeah, ain't going to happen. Pioneer says, Queen, that's a heck of a sound to hear your nails cracking up against the can when you grabbed it. Laugh out loud. Oh, you like ASMR? Hello, darling. How are you today? Let me stop. I do watch ASMR to go to sleep at night, so that's how I know about it. Sean say, we should have started holding our votes decades ago when we wasn't receiving nothing for our votes. Now Biden flooding the country with cheap labor and more anti-Black ethnic groups. Yes.
Yeah, but you got to remember, Sean, decades ago, our parents' generation was still in power. And what kind of stuff are they on? They're on the get along to get along. You know, oh, the white man's not that bad. You know, we can go to the same stores as they do. They were of that nature. So they don't think there was a problem because they just wanted to be recognized. You can beat me and beat me up and stuff as long as you recognize I'm a human being or I'm a person in the country. That's what they're on. And until this very day, Joe Biden is going to be 83 years old come 2014 or whatever it is. He's still talking about running for office. Look at most of your congressional people that are in Congress. These are baby boomers. I believe a third of the Congress is younger than that. So these people they don't want to leave, and especially in the Black congregations and the congressional areas, we literally are carrying these representatives out in pine boxes, and so that is one of the main problems. Is nobody's checking them. Nobody.
Al, what ancestors told you that? I'm interested, if you don't mind me asking. And Yikwaba, I know I said that wrong again, but I'm going to get it right. I promise you one of these days I'm going to get it right. How are you doing? And let's see here. The Pioneer says, I hit enter early, too early. It says, but most jobs are corporations. They aren't privately owned. They are publicly owned. So whites don't have a right to pick and choose who they want to manage it. Got you. That is true. And Shine said you're right about that. And Thunder says your arms look nice and toned. The gym is paying off. Way to go. Yeah, it's a little bit, you know, but look at that sweat. I guess I'm purifying right now. I don't know. I don't stink though, so.
You're a natural sweater, then we would assume you're a natural sweater.
Yeah, I am. That's why I have to continue like wearing these. I said when it gets cold, I'll grace y'all with my natural hair for like a week. But being here in Houston, I cannot wear my hair. It will snap off and I will have plugs in my head from being bald due to this weather. So one day y'all see my afro. It's pretty nice now. But anyway. Pioneer says, not sure, sis. It didn't make the same sound when you tried it on purpose. Maybe when you first grabbed it, it was close to your microphone. Okay, I got you. Maybe toward the end, I'll give you a little ASMR. And Tori says, time to go. Okay, and then Kiki says, this is why Congress needs a limit. And Michael, you say, Donovan, I am good at yelling and fighting for your people. You need me to fight like Steven Seagal. Okay. Oh, I said it perfectly. Now I'm sorry. Try to say it again. Ikwaba. Okay, well, thank you. I'm working on it. And Joanne, how you doing? It says all politicians have a lifetime career, especially, our politicians, right?
See, and that's the problem. We keep thinking that these people are leaders. They are not leaders. They are representatives. We are the leaders. But you know what? We're so busy in our bubble trying to raise our kids, trying to find a great job, take care of our house and stuff, that these people continue to rob us deaf, dumb, and blind. You got politicians that are in your face telling you we need to give the police more resources and more money so that they can brutalize your black ass. And we do nothing about it.
Kiki. Yeah, and Michael wants to know how much you bench press. And Kiki says that's ridiculous. No one should be that age still occupying a seat. How will there ever be room for new people, generation, and new ideas if the old, no disrespect, never leave? And that's just the thing. A lot of the younger people, I think they're just so disenfranchised that they're like, forget about it. And I think we also got to remember, too, that there's more at play in politics than people just going to vote and not going to vote. There's a lot of money involved and influence. So there's a lot of things going on. And a lot of those people that are in the seats now, course, we know, especially in our community, they're not there to help the community. They're there to help further the agenda of whoever is paying them money, and also, to fatten their pockets. So, but it is up to us to some degree to get them out of there. Like I said, especially in white communities, they don't allow their politicians to sit in office for too long, not serving the community. They see that they aren't doing what they're supposed to do. It's probably sometimes one time, and they're like, yeah, we want to try somebody else. But us, we keep letting them in there because if we hear time and time again, they come in with the turkeys and, all the giveaways and stuff, and we think that's something, but it's not. You buy your own freaking turkey if they were bringing resources and stuff into the community, right? And so let's see here. Pioneer says Black people need to stop thinking like victims or just occupiers, quote unquote, of jobs and housing, and see ourselves as owners who have the right to be here. I totally agree. And Letitia, how you doing? Says shalom, Demetra and Donovan and my royal family. Yes, indeed. And Lulu, how you doing? He says, oh, go Cowboys. And Joanne says, sweating ensures your system is always clean. Yes, indeed. And trust me, I sweat a lot sometimes. One, who cares? How you doing? And Letitia says, I have got to get Donovan's Cash App. Yes, Donovan, put it in the comment section. Put your Cash App in the comment section. And Damon says, I think it's the drink, Miss K, looking beautiful. Oh, thank you so much. Okay, Yikwaba.
wait. I'm not putting my thing in the Cash App thing because she's going to give me $6 to buy me for the evening. I'm not doing that. No, I'm joking. I'm just
put 605 in there. Give him 605 and he's yours. Just make sure I get my 10%.
Pimping is illegal in most countries. You know that, right?
It's light suggestive selling. How about that? And let's see here. Pamela said, Donovan Saadiq, yes, they're just fine with how things are now. As long as they can sit at the counter beside them or stay in their neighborhood, just crazy. We can build our own counter/neighborhoods. Yes, indeed. And Thunder says, down south, usually if someone is sweating like that, it's the bourbon. Nope. I don't really, if I drink, it's a little wine here and there. Sometimes I have anxiety at night. So I'll drink a little wine to kind of like calm me down and help me sleep. But I don't really drink much. And Pioneer says, first of all, as Black people who are citizens of this nation, we can give ourselves reparations, especially at a local level where we dominate most of the politics in many districts. I totally agree with you. And you also say, I'll give you another example. Why do we have to constantly renew our voting bill every 20 years when the Constitution guarantees all citizens the right to vote? Because we are too busy focusing on the low-hanging fruit. We don't focus on that kind of stuff. We focus on the low-hanging fruit of what somebody said and how somebody sounds, but we don't focus on the stuff that really affects us. And Letitia says, your vote is acknowledgement that you want to stay a slave submission. I totally agree. And Yiko, what you say, poor people loan and become slave, or what they do to make ends meet is criminalized, but and leaders don't care. Pioneer says that bill doesn't give Black people more rights. It just adds stiffer penalties for voter suppression, something we can do ourselves if we are police officers, mayors, and judges. We can do that anyway. But see, the problem is a lot of times those people get in those positions and then they start tap dancing for the man. So they have to stay true to the game as far as helping their people too. You know what I mean? And Yiko, but you said a lot of typos. I hope you understand. No, I get it. And trust me, some of that ain't all typos. Some of it is my reading. And Joanne, you said, dang, Donovan, you cheat 10% off of $6. Yeah, listen, this man has been on the auction block for a very long time. And I just don't, do one of y'all ladies want him at all? Like, I even give him to you at this point. I'll loan him to you and I'll let you test drive him. And if you like him, then we can negotiate. But God.
Well, unlike a lot of ladies that are in the sex industry, I want all the money to come to me. So what do they call them? Renegades? You call me a renegade. I don't need no broker or a pimp or whatever you call it. I'm a renegade. I'm on the blade as a renegade.
Yeah, okay. And Yikwa, but you say, here's the verse I posted on Brother Phil's channel. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is the servant of the lender. Yep. And for those who follow the Bible, it says what? Oh, no, man. Do your best to get out of debt. Yes, Donovan has put up his Cash App, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to donate to Donovan, there it is. And Kimmy, what's going on with you? Say hello, Demetra, Donovan, and chat. And Kiki says, me too, anxiety. Some nights I drink chamomile tea. Yeah, sometimes I need something just a little bit stronger than tea, but nothing too hard. Because, I mean, sometimes it's like really bad. I don't know what it is. Maybe one of y'all know. I'll doze off. And it seems like 10 minutes later, I get like jolted awake. And I'm like, and then like it'll take me about 30 minutes to go back to sleep. But it's like without fail every night. After about 10 minutes of going to sleep, I'm like wide awake. So I don't know what that is exactly. And let's see here. Yes, indeed, Kimmy, welcome back. And thank you, Michael. You says, please charge racist agents, etc., for obstruction. And do tell. What do you mean by that exactly? Pioneer, you say, exactly, Queen. Black elected officials and cops have the power to do it, but refuse to make excuses for why they aren't protecting their people. No bill can really help that. Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, they get in there and then they start to shucking and jiving. And so what do we do from that point, right?
Well, and also, Pioneer, real quick, they're doing that in conjunction with the developers. This is why these areas are being gentrified. What's the first thing that they do? Gentrification doesn't happen within like a year. It happens over a period of time where you're at city council and they make a zoning proposal and the developer wants this, right? This land. So what do? They stop policing the area. They let the gangs kind of run over it. And so all you good people that have been living there for years, you can just get tired of the stuff. And then you move, you willingly sell your home and stuff. And then the developer goes in there on the cheap because, they've gentrified it. A great example of that would be the movie Boys in the Hood, where Furious was explaining gentrification. I always refer my nephews and cousins to look at that part of the movie. And I ask them, didn't that happen in your neighborhood? And that's what they do.
Yes, indeed. And Joanne says, people don't worry about these so-called leaders. The scripture says the kingdom shall be taken by force. Absolutely. So what does that tell us, right? And James, thank you so much. You say hit the like button if you have not. All right, so I don't see any more comments in regards to that silly lady in reparations. But let's see here. Kiki says, I'm laughing at Donovan. Donovan's like, I don't want no money that jingles. I want the money that folds. Yes.
Yeah, please. I don't want the kind that rolls. I want the kind that folds.
Well, I tell you what, you better be willing to do something strange for the change, okay? So we can get you off the auction block. My God.
DJ Quick used to say it all the time in his songs. Don't eat anyway, go ahead.
Speaking of which, we'll have a commercial break. On this Tuesday, Donovan and I will be playing a game. You want to play a game? It's called, if y'all can see it, Date Night. Not that we're on a date or anything, but these are actually my daughter's cards. We're having a conversation earlier. And in this deck of cards, it's going to ask a series of questions. And I'm going to pull these cards. So I'll demonstrate one right now. I don't know what I'm going to pull, right? I'll give you guys an example of what we might ask, okay? Let me see. This says, if your significant other gets their dream job in a city far away from your family, are you willing to relocate? So we're going to ask different questions, see what comes up. We're going to play this on our Tuesday podcast to see what kind of answers we both come up with. And the game is called Tonight's Conversation, the card game. And this is in regards to date night. You're supposed to do it with your significant other. So we're going to do that on Tuesday. Anyway, back to what I was saying. Okay, so let me get back to these comments and then I'll go ahead and transition to the debate. And then anything else y'all want to talk about, please throw it in the chat. And Yaquiba, you say, if it will broadcast worldwide. So I think you're saying something about Donovan was saying. And Pamela says, Sister Demetra, I think you mentioned the Twitter video of Montana talking the one Stacey Abrams people about voting. Yes, there's a video that I did of a brother named Montana. I forget his whole name. But anyway, it was superb. Stacey Abrams campaigner, I guess you will, came to the door and I guess wanted his vote, wanted to know if he was going to vote for her. And he broke her down, and basically told her the issues and said, that Stacey Abrams is not for reparations, which is what we're asking for Black people in America. She's not for that. He told her the issues in his county and Georgia that affects him and, Black men and everything like that. And he said she's not speaking to those things. So, if she starts speaking to those things and she actively wants to do those things, then yeah, she should get my vote. But until then, so a very, very mastery, took mastery of that situation. And Letitia says, if I was single, Donovan, I would say yes to you. Okay. QT Gaming Family, how you doing? Long time no see. He says, well, the only way we will be able to make any changes is to be willing to get physical. Sometimes that is what's necessary. Yes, I totally agree with you. Pioneer says, right, gentrification happens over decades. You're absolutely right. It's a long-term strategy where they allow the schools to decay and crime to go up. We can see the pattern over and over again, and we keep falling for it. We keep just being the frog in the boiling pot of water, like, somebody will help us. And let's see here. Allie says, if a man gives a woman the right amount of money that falls, she'll make it jingle. You better believe it. I'm just playing. QT says, heck, I'm a nurse. I can work anywhere, honey. Go get that bag. I'll get the job there. Yes, so you're speaking about the question that I pulled out of the deck of cards that Donovan and I are going to play on Tuesday. And then Thunder says, question, why do you think our voting rights are not permanent? Just curious of opinion. I personally think that they're not permanent, obviously, because they didn't start off that way. But what have we really done to get them to change? Like, have we put anybody? Because how does the Constitution change? The Constitution changes by who? It changes by the Senate and Congress. As a whole, they voted all in and this, that, and the other. So we haven't really sent people there that are interested in saying, "Hey, while I'm here, my people." They have to the vote, the right to vote has to be renewed every so often. So I'm here. I want to put that on the floor. Like, why is this even a thing, right? So we don't send those people to Washington in the first place. We send people who may talk about it here and there, but then once they get there 40 years later, when they get ready to die, they don't care about that stuff.
Well, it's also the same in regards to Roe versus Wade. Over 60 years has passed, 50 years. A little under 50 years has passed, a little under 60 years has passed, sorry. And the Democrats had all the time in the world to codify that in the law. They don't do that because it's a dividing wedge that keeps everybody fighting each other while they're robbing us deaf, dumb, and blind. Regardless of how you feel about the issue, look at how divisive that issue is specifically. And that's what they do. So when it comes to the voting rights issue, they know Black people are very emotional. We are emotional people. We like to have a good time. We like to be entertained, right? So when the voting rights for us comes up, oh, it's an issue, we got to vote. And that's how they get you to vote at a certain time so that they can stay in power, because politics is about power, nothing more, nothing less. So they use it as a tool to get us to stay on the plantation. If the Democrats were really serious about voting rights, why is it that I could be an illegal alien here and let's say a dreamer? I'm a dreamer brought here at my own wish. Let's say I get codified to become a citizen. Okay, now I'm of Hispanic background. Do I need voting rights protection? Absolutely not. I vote. If I'm an Asian and I've come here and I've been born here and I'm of Asian descent, do I need a voting rights bill so that I can ensure my votes? No, I don't need that. I'm Asian. We're the only group that they do that to. And we have representatives that have been up there for 30 plus years. Maxine Waters, Sheila Jackson Lee, so on, so forth. I can go on and on and on. And I guarantee you, if you look at their congressional record, there is nothing in there to try to codify Black people's voting rights, reparations, or any issues in regards to Black people. Do you know what Black congressmen do most of the time that they're in Congress? Besides steal money, they name post offices and they give themselves civil rights medals to themselves, their family members, and their friends. That's what they do.
Capricorn is how you doing? It says, do you think since we're sitting this out this time, the next time they'll figure out that we're not playing? I absolutely think so. We should have did this actually a long time ago, and I think we'd be a lot further along. And Kimmy, you say, has anyone seen Till? I have not seen Till. I did not plan to see Till. I'll tell you really quick. I watched because I was bored last night. So I watched Tyler Perry's A Jazz Man's Blues. I'm going to punch Tyler Perry in his fupa. Y'all know what fupa is, okay? I want to punch him in his fupa. I watched that movie and it was just trauma porn. And I'm like, all right, Tyler, we get it. We get it. Like so many things you could have done with that movie. And I said, okay, I'm done. So no, I will not be watching till I'm good on being, traumatized at the movies. I don't want to pay for it anymore anyway. Pioneer says, oops, let me take this off. Problem is usually when it gets to the point that they become your significant other, you're no longer dating. Laugh out loud. I got you now. No need to dress up and go through all of that anymore. Oh, boo, I will dress up. I dress up every day. Well, I don't dress up every day, but I do my hair and, I have my face together and I would do that. And even though I never leave the house, I wear perfume like I'm wearing it now. So that would never be a problem with me. Just putting that out there. And QT says, trying to get that MSN. And then once again, he says, we need to be able to have adult conversation. Yes, I totally agree with you. And David says, Stacey Abrams is an agent. She could be. It looks that way. And Jay Bubba says, after no voting, no vucking, I will do like Brother Phil said in a protest vote. I totally agree. Whatever they vote for, I'm doing the opposite. The Pioneer says, you date a woman you're trying to link up with. Once you got that ring on her finger, you've conquered the beast and moved on to other goals. Laugh out loud, just being real. Wow, so what are you saying? Do tell. And Al says, this weekend after a boxer won his lightweight title, he said, Hamdulillah. What is that and what does it mean? Well, that means all praises to God, or, something close to it. So that's what that means. And he kind of spelled it a little bit differently. I was like, what is that? And Melvin, if I didn't already, how are you doing? He says, single fathers 50, New Mexico. Okay. And Yickle Buddy says, oh, I was saying I'm going to be a DJ on 1490 AM on 90 Smooth next month. If you want to have your content uploaded, let me know the first month on me. Okay, well, give me the information. That is interesting. And where is that radio station at? Is it like internet or is it like local? And Michael says, Donovan and Demetra, I try hard to convince Asians to support cash reparations, but to no avail. I need advice because I get very frustrated. What should I do? Well, let me ask you this, Michael. Why are they against it? If you could start there, why are they against it? And Mama Deb, how you doing? He says, since reparations is a marathon and not a sprint, and no real candidates are talking about reparations, do you think that we should wield our vote for the next best issue that will help our people?
Now, let me answer that real quick. Well, reparations really isn't a marathon. And, and again, Mama Deb, I'm not sure how old you are or whatever. A lot of our civil rights era people think that is the, that it's a marathon. A marathon doesn't last 60 plus years. I'm sorry to say that. Other groups are getting reparations immediately. There is no excuse for Black people not to get reparations. So if we fall into that, like, well, what our parents did, whatever, it will never happen. We have to demand the reparations now because billions of dollars has gone to Ukraine without half of them without congressional approval. The president just signed a thing and it was done, so on and so forth. So no, we are not involved in a marathon. We should get our money just like all these other groups are getting their money. Asians got money on an Asian crime bill. They got money under the table. They're bringing Afghans here. Now, you got to think about this, and I'm not like trying to bash Afghans, but I was over there fighting, okay? Let me tell you this. These are people who collaborated with outsiders like the United States and turned on their own country to bring them here now. We're bringing, these are the people you don't want in your country. They're basically like traitor-type people, right? But we brought them here to the United States, right? They're getting a full ride on our tax dollars. So, I mean, this thing about taking our time, let me ask you the simple question. When should we get our reparations? When? I'm 52 years old right now, and I've been living under a racist regime all of my life. When should we get our reparations? When I see other people coming here, getting it immediately.
Yeah, I mean, in regards to it being a marathon, I mean, we've been asking for it since the late 1800s. And so, I mean, it's time, and it's just, we don't want any studies. We don't want anything like that. We want the money. They don't need to study anybody else's issues. So, but that's going to come with us unifying. And until we do that, we're always going to be getting a carrot dangled in front of us, you know. And you also say, Mom and Dad, that's not my issue. I have tools, grants. Okay. And let's see here. Yeah, I've noticed that too, Thundy says, I've noticed I'm not seeing any of Sheila Jackson Lee's posters, but I'm seeing a lot of Carmen political flyers and posters everywhere. Yeah, I can't say that I've seen any Sheila Jackson Lee posters, but I'm not out much. But when I am out, I have not seen them. Let's see here. You also say, Mama Debbie says, I'm talking about the collective of my people receiving reparations from a debt that is owed. Okay, got you. And QT says, same here. I'm a lady still, and that's won't change just because my man is insecure. You know what I'm saying? Facts. And let's see. Brother Don, how are you? I saw you on Go Black to Africa, I think it is. I saw you on there. I was like, hey, that's Don. And QT says, oh, good. He says, don't even get me started on that degrading voting fucking video. Says that was such a disgrace, and now it's telling the entire world that we are all like that portrayed in the video. Yeah, that was pretty crazy, right? Mom Dad says Sheila Jackson Lee has been faking at reparations for over 20 years, and she'll do it another 25 years. She don't do it another 25 years if she's allowed to do that. Pioneer says, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a polyamorous brother. Laugh out loud. If I get dressed up to the nines, I'm looking to impress multiple women, not just one, and not necessarily the one I'm with. Well, you know what, brother? My hat is off to you if I was wearing one for you being honest. At least you're keeping it real. Like, you're not out there talking about, I'm a one-woman man. I'm just looking for one. I tell the sisters this. Sisters, y'all listening to me? Y'all listening? If a man tells you, I'm looking for a God-fearing woman, you better run. You better run, because it's those godly brothers that cause the most hell. You know what I mean? I'm just putting that out there, okay?
Well, let me put this out there, brothers. If you find a woman that is into the church, really into the church, those are the super freaks Rick James was talking about.
I'm gonna be quiet. Yeah, boy. You say we need to find a way to make them do right. They're supposed to be taken down by the Supreme Court for doing nothing for us when we voted them in. I totally agree with you.
Real quick though, see, here's another thing. Let's say the Supreme Court does make a decision. How do they enforce it? They don't have any power to enforce anything. So if you have a racist government that, let's say the government's the one we have now, the Democrats, Black people are getting choked out, whatever. What did the Democrats do? Absolutely nothing. The Supreme Court does not have the power to regulate the army and, initiate that. That's why January 6th, the government was basically powerless at the way the structure of how they would enforce certain things go. The Supreme Court has no power to push their edicts. So like, remember in the 1960s when they did the busing? Why did busing kids take so long? Because the racist states refused to do anything. And that's the problem. They have no power to push anything.
Absolutely. Yes, we should demand our reparations now, not tomorrow, not, a couple of years, but now. Pioneer says, if I showed up to a voting booth with my ID and registration card and some racist clown tries to turn me away, trust me, the police will have to get involved, and probably the ambulance too. Yeah, I just kind of find that being in the South, the voting laws are not as cut and dry as it is in California. I don't even know if I can vote on certain things being a nonpartisan. That's how I was registered in California, but from what I understand, you can't really do that here, so it's kind of weird. So yeah, and some cases you can go to jail for not voting right. So I'm like, maybe I just won't do it then, But I think that's kind of the point. And only Pamela Wade says, did you get my email? Let me check, because I actually have 3 emails, so I only really get notifications for 2 of them. So let me go ahead and check all my emails to see if you sent it to me. I'm sure it's in there though, but I'll double check. And Mama Debbie says, I mean, a long time. Okay. Clarence, how you doing? Says United Snakes of America. Yes, indeed. And Kiki says, I am going to see it till. I like the fact that as our people telling the story, and from the interview I saw of the director, it won't be focused on the actual trauma of the situation, and mainly about Emmett's mom. So it won't be showing the violence that happened. I plan on seeing it for that reason. I think it's important to see other aspects of the behind the scenes per se happenings of our story. That doesn't happen very often. So yeah, I can agree from that aspect. For me, I'm pretty well versed on the story of Emmett Till. And I know that his mother Mamie she was courageous. She was a soldier and trying to get justice for her son. I've seen the trailers in the movies. When I do go, I have seen the trailers, and it seems like it could still be very traumatizing. I did see where the directors or the writers or one of them was saying that they're not going to traumatize Black people, but the stuff that I saw seemed like it was kind of traumatic. So I don't know exactly what they mean, but I probably will be sitting that out. I'm just trying to right now, especially after what I saw yesterday, I'm trying to make more of a conscious decision not to allow myself to be traumatized as what they call trauma porn. And they tend to do that to us as Black people with content. Mama Deb says, Afghans, Asians, Ukrainians, LGBT, etc. He says, no, I want my reparations yesterday. I know that's right. And Yokoba, he says, according to the law, they don't follow. They were supposed to be sat down. Okay. And Frederick, how you doing? It says, good seeing the both of you. Well, good seeing you too. And let's see, Mama Debbie says, it turned out to be a marathon since all of these other groups have gotten reparations, but Black Americans have not. I can see where you're going with that. QT says, oh, heck, I learned that years ago. The minute he tells me he's a Christian, I haul ass, yep, be quiet, Donovan. Exactly. Thank you, brother.
All you religious women that don't want the secret out. Brothers, super freak. Best ones.
Well, who you think they're freaking on? The deacons, the pastor, the parking lot attendants, and all the great juice servers, all of them. The ushers, hey, that's how they freaking on. Thank you, Brother Marcus, for sharing the link on Facebook. And Yekwa says, exactly, they do nothing. And Angela, you say, they're here in my hometown. The Mexicans are getting businesses and housing, vehicles, contract jobs. I think they're all here to replace us. Oh, yes, you could best believe that. And what do? We focusing on other stuff. Oh, this celebrity said that.
Mm-hmm.
This celebrity said that. Like we not focused on those things. And my brother, he comes on here on Wednesdays, on Wealth Wednesdays with Walter. And he said something that was very profound, and it's really stuck to my brain. He says, especially when we are in relationships with people, we shouldn't be with people who aren't interested in building. We shouldn't be with people who aren't interested in building. And I say all that to say is because, especially if we as Black people, we getting together, I can see if you're in your 20s and your teens, whatever, you're getting together just for the kiki and the ha-ha and the feel good and all that. But when we get a certain age, we need to be getting together to try to build, because we should be like, hey, our people are behind, and it's going to take us, Black men and Black women, to get together and actually go and do something game-changing, not just for us, but for our people. And so, yeah, they're able to do those things, but we're focusing on nonsense. I mean, right now, I'm sure there's a fight on Twitter between Black people, whether it's here or somewhere else, over some nonsense. So,
yeah, a real quick story. I went to a baby shower yesterday with a good friend of mine. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to show up, get my plate and go like some of us do, right? Now, this is for Black people. These are Black babies and stuff that's coming. I go there, and guess what they had for eating?
What they have?
Hispanic tacos. The food was catered by Hispanics. And then I'm sitting there, in my head, I'm looking at what's going on. Mostly Black people are in attendance. And I'm thinking, why are you serving tacos when you have a Black friends and family that, Demetra, we have a soul food place that they could have catered to and whatever. And the funny thing is, I was looking at the Hispanic guy, and the tacos were great. I'm not put downing the tacos. But what I was thinking in my head was, we give our money to all these other groups, and we think there's nothing wrong with it, because I'm very sure that there was a Black business that could have used that business money for their business to keep it in the community. But yet here in California, more and more, we see Black businesses closing their doors because nobody is patronizing them. So, again, here in California, they just had a Hispanic city council member talk bad about Black people and other groups. And yet we still have Black people that are so stuck in their bubble that and I'm not saying punish, other people, but like you just said, we've got to unify and keep our dollars in our community. And yet we don't do this stuff.
Absolutely. So you said you're not seeing the Woman King either. So I just said, as a content creator, some things I have to see so I can give, especially if we're going to talk about, I can give you commentary on it. So I did see the Woman King. I'm just not going to go see Till because I don't want to be traumatized anymore. Again, I know the story of Emmett Till. I don't know, maybe one day, but yeah, after what I watched last night, Tyler Perry's garbage. I really wanted to just punch him for real. It was like enough, okay, enough. And then he copied and pasted everybody's movie together. It was a compilation of The Color Purple, Mo Better Blues, Imitation of Life, or Passing. It was just a bunch of movies glued together. It's like, dude, this is not original to you. You just stole a whole bunch of people's stuff and just called it a movie. Shame on you. And Jay Bubba says the motherboard. Y'all better quit talking about the motherboard. And QT says, laugh out loud, exactly. Demetra, church girls freaking with someone. That's what I'm saying. Like, who they freaking with, In fact, Phyllis says the debate between Warnock and Walker was hilarious. I swear Warnock came across like a pimp preaching, pretending to be a preacher, and Walker had no idea what the hell was going on at halftime. Yes, we're going to get into that and get to the rest of these comments, and we're going to talk about that. QT says we should be building, and the only way we can have a community to build, and we need to be willing to provide security against other Black people who aren't hell-bent on leading the destruction of hell-bent on leading the destruction of our people. I totally agree. As that Marcus Garvey theory, some people have to be left behind. Some people just are here to be entertained. They're not really here to build. Pioneer says the clip of that movie story I saw showed Emmett Till bragging about having a white girlfriend in Chicago and being able to get the white woman in the store, basically smearing his reputation. Yeah, because that ain't the story we've heard, right? So I totally agree with you. Kiki says, you're right. You're right. Yep, you're right, Donovan. And Pioneer says, Brother Donovan, the same thing happened at my job earlier this year. Most of the workers are Black, a little less are Latino, but the company brought a taco truck in to give us lunch to treat. Well, yeah, it's the way it's going in Black. But did you eat the tacos, though? And Donovan, did you eat the tacos?
No, I ate the tacos there, but like in a Black event, we like to take a plate home, right? I didn't take no plate home. I'm not taking no tacos home. I'm not going to do it. It's not fulfilling.
Black America, you said some of the things that I was thinking, but I agree. Black people, we should be trying to get Black people to do our own thing. It should be second nature, but that was probably the case. And, a whole host of other things. I don't know why they didn't have a Black caterer, but they should have tried at the very least. And maybe they did. You never know, right? And Kimmy says, I understand what you're saying about trauma porn. However, I think cinematic production that focus on the success of Black Wall Street would be inspirational. Now, I would see something like that, just depending on who is doing it. Too much of the trauma is just, it's a lot for me. You know what I mean? Maybe it's because I'm getting older. I don't know. Capricorn, she says, and they make it hard to find them. So you're talking about the Black businesses that we're talking about. The only panelist way says, where was this at, Donovan Saadiq? I don't really like tacos, so I would have asked him where the real food was. Absolutely. And
a lot of us that were there, the Black guests, that's what we were all talking among each other. Like, where's the food? Where's the fucking food?
Yes, indeed. And Yacoboya says they're acting up in California all the time. And QT says 14-year-old boys are rather aloof and awkward. They would not be going around passing story when they are still bragging about kisses on the cheek. And let's see here. And Michael says, Donovan, I know karate to go after the perpetrators and claim cash reparations for your people. But we don't want you to get in trouble, though. Yes, Capricorn says plagiarism. I was like, come on, man, what are you doing? Kiki says, I didn't know Tyler Perry had anything new coming out. Wow, he has called Jasmine's Blues. And it's just, it could have been good, but he plagiarized a lot of people's stuff. And it was the worst freaking ending. I was so mad watching that movie. I'm like, enough already. You know what I mean? It was just a lot. Y'all watch it at your own, traumatic expense. Jan Michael says exactly. Discouragement. 1, a loss of confidence and enthusiasm. He says dispiritedness. He says unbending intentions. 1 inch by inch, step by step, and blow by blow. Which one are you committed to? So what is that exactly? I'm sorry. And Tawana says, I saw The Woman King on Friday and I love it. Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it. I understood it was fiction.
It's total fiction. Yeah, it had nothing to do with factual events.
Yeah, I knew they weren't coming from a factual standpoint because I had researched it before I went and saw the movie. And Donnie says, this is why I don't watch television. Yes, tell lies to your vision. Yes, indeed. I watch it sparingly. I'm more calculated on what I watch. I just don't sit in front of the TV and like watch stuff. I'm like, oh, I heard about this. Let me go watch it or whatever. But yeah, I don't watch a lot of nonsense.
I got rid of my cable, got me an antenna, put it up in the attic, and I have internet, and that's about it. I'm just done with the cable stuff because there's nothing really that I'm interested in that I can't get watching Crackle or something like that.
That Crackle, that sounds like some old people stuff. What you watching, baby? Crackle? What's on there? Gunsmoke?
Mm. Well, you know what, Miss Brooks? No, you know.
Right. Now, Jeremy, he says the Till story isn't over. The perpetrator is still free. Due to not punishing that perpetrator, she raised her son to be a criminal against Black people by helping Favre steal millions in Mississippi. And they actually said that might be her nephew, but I totally agree with you. Yeah, the lady's still walking around here breathing, you know, and I don't know. There's movies, there's been plenty of movies, I guess, or documentaries about it, but I don't know. That doesn't sound like something I would want to watch. Kimmy says, I thought Walker had many good responses and comebacks. Yes, let me get into that. Let me just get to the bottom here. Letitia says, Herschel pulled a share badge out of the debate stage. Yes, I saw that. Thunder says, I buy my laundry soap tissue paper from Black-owned, and I found the Black-owned ice cream that's sold in Walmart called Creamalicious Ice Cream. Really? I never even heard of that, but I have heard of
Walmart's doing their ice cream thing again. Juneteenth ice cream.
Yeah, I've heard of the paper and stuff from Black-owned company. I was going to actually get some, but just a lot to ship to me, I guess, from where they are. So, or what's that when I was in California? I think I was in California and I was trying to ship, and it was a lot because I guess from where I can't remember where they are. Is it the what is it? I know True makes the laundry soap, and I can get that from one of these vegans Black-owned stores here. QT says, ew. Can you imagine reheated tacos, laugh out loud? That's like a bowl of Doritos, cereals, laugh out loud. Ew, yeah, that's pretty nasty. Dan, how you doing? Says, wow, a lot of crazy people, to say the least. Honeydew says, I guess tacos are cheaper and people don't want to cook anymore. I actually like tacos.
Yeah, well, the funny thing, yeah, tacos are cheaper as a whole, but to get the catering that was there, that was done, they paid from what they were telling me, a significant price for those people, because not only did it come with the taco vendor, they had the remember those the photo booth thing? They had that person there as part of it too. So they paid for a package. So it was pretty expensive. But I'm going to tell you, they had a lot of tacos left over.
And Kiki, you make a good point. Says really Black haters cost too much, but Black folks out here paying hundreds of dollars for sneakers, nails, and weave. Please stop shaking my head. Why are there always excuses when it comes to patronizing Black people, though? Yeah, and I should say too, in California, there are Black businesses, but there's not a whole lot of Black businesses, I would imagine, without even looking at the numbers, that it's more Hispanic businesses than ever. But yeah, I agree. I mean, if I was to cater an event, I would definitely look for our people first at the very least. So that would just be me. But then again, I don't know, maybe they did and they weren't successful. Who knows, right? And Letitia says, I do not buy from Spano food trucks or, I think he meant Spanish though, food trucks or restaurants. Okay. And Michael says, Donovan, you and I should team up to go after perpetrators to claim reparations for your people. I know that you're good with handling weapons. I can fight with my hands and mind, please. Gather people. Okay.
Yeah, but Michael, we would make it. We would make it at the first through the front door, because we'd have to go to the White House first, because that's where it starts.
Right. Letitia says, I stopped watching Tyler Perry's. It's so sexually salacious, disgusting. Yeah, I'm cool on Tyler. That was a lot. That really had me pissed off last night. QT says, hell, I play video games, laugh out loud. Me, not so much. I used to back in the 80s. Pioneer says many of the Latinos were looking at us, and one even said that in his culture, quote unquote, when people don't eat the food, they get insulted. See, they got sense enough to pick up the slightest disrespect. Yeah, it's like, I ain't eating that. I don't want that. You can call it what you want, but I ain't eating it. Oh, and Jan Michael said, in regards to obtaining reparations, got you. And Kiki says,
wait. And you got to think about me as a Black person. You know, when you're going to a Black event, like when you go to your aunt or something like that, you always bring your own plasticware and your Tupperware, because you know you're going to be taking home plates of food. So I want to put the mashed potatoes in my little Tupperware. It's always in the car, and you go and get it before you're about to leave. Couldn't even do it.
Kiki says these non-Black establishments will literally not even want Black people in there, and our people stand outside video fussing and getting into somewhere They're not wanted, but every time it comes to us supporting each other, it's always doggone, but just stop it. I totally agree with you. Again, you guys are in Facebook and you're seeing this, click on the link and I would love to read your comment. Thank you, Marcus. And Capricorn, she said, that's a fact. At this point, I don't have cable in my house either. Yes, indeed. And Michael says, Donovan and Demetra, I am very serious about fighting for reparations for your people. I am willing to get bloody and physical with evil people. Well, I want you to stand down for just a moment. Brother Don, he says, Sanford's son, the Jeffersons, good times. Yes. And Yipple, you says, the recovering Democrat, do you think that Michael Vick was a better quarterback than Brett Favre? And what do you think in how they let Brett Favre off? Did you answer that in the questions?
No, not yet. But yeah, of course, Michael Vick was better than Brett Favre. I mean, in most cases, a lot of black athletes are better in the position of their white counterparts, but they let Brett Favre off because he's what? Southern white boy and the golden boy. But that goes to show you, he basically showed that the biggest thieves out there and the biggest crimes that happen are white collar crimes perpetrated by white people. But a good example, Donald Trump. Anybody else that would have done the slimmest thing that Donald Trump is accused of doing, because we don't know if he's innocent or guilty, you would be in jail right now trying to bond out. You see what I'm saying? They would have at least charged him by now, but they can't do that because it would hurt white supremacy on both sides. Nancy Pelosi hasn't made a statement in regards to it. No Democrat is really rah-rahing about what is going on. As a military person, and those of you guys that are in the military, you guys know that when we were given whatever your clearance was, top secret documents, they were serious about it. And you will just go to jail and stay there until they're ready to deal with you.
I think I was talking about the soap. If I said ice cream, forgive me. It's soap. It's called True. I think I like the True Company, True Soap Company. And they have laundry detergent and all of that. Pioneer. He says, not only that, but at my job, you have about 2 or 3 Latino workers who routinely make food and bring it to sell. And guess who their main customers are? Yeah, you guessed it, us. Well, was it you on here talking about cooking every Sunday for your lady friend that's coming over? You making red snapper and all that other stuff. Go on and put you some fish plates together, brother, and take it to the job. And if your people don't buy, then we really know the story. But shoot, that's what I would be doing. Okay, y'all bringing tacos and burritos and stuff. Okay, I'm bringing some chicken leg sandwiches. I'm bringing some fish plates or whatever, right? I don't know.
Yeah, have you guys noticed when you go into Walmart, there's the Asian section, there's the Mexican section, there's the Armenian section. Where's the black section? Even though that Walmart is predominantly near a black neighborhood, there is no black section. There just isn't. Oh yeah, the black section is. That's if you're in a neighborhood where you know you're in a black Walmart when everything is locked up and behind the plastic glass.
Walmart is the black section, okay? Facts Not Feeling says, I cut my cable almost a decade ago and never looked back. I can honestly say my critical thinking skills have increased. I totally agree. I typically would not have cable. I have the internet, but cable, no. Cable TV, that's not something that I'm into. Because it's expensive for one thing. And QT says, what's crazy though, I play horror. It says, talk about trauma. Also, you play horror video games, okay? And the teacher says, if you must vote Republican. I want Herschel to win. A lot of people are actually saying that. And Don says, y'all shouldn't be eating that plus filled ice cream. No way. Yeah, if you're going to do it, do vegan. Yeah, it's a lot of milk in there. So yeah, I tend to stay away from milk products. Finances, I like tacos too and rice and other things, but I like my people to make the food and make the money, not other people. I totally agree. Well, I mean, they wouldn't keep coming to our neighborhoods and whatever it is if we would stop buying. I'm just saying. And QT said, I'd rather pay the extra money. I'm calling ours first. I also put my loved ones in their place. When they down talk black businesses, they've never fraternized. I totally agree. I would tend to think we should call black businesses first. You know, give them the opportunity to earn the money. I just think that we should do that. Honeydew says, only because people actually click on this type of stuff above Unreal. Okay. And let's see here. And the Pioneer, you say, I'm a fair man and I'd be willing to compromise if they alternated between soul food and Mexican food. I'd accept that. But to completely ignore FBA culture and pretend our food doesn't exist. Well, let me ask you. So you said that you have asked them to bring in soul food, and Clarence, you say, and if I didn't already, how you doing? He says, I know that if we stop spending with them, their businesses would close within 2 weeks. Come on now. We keep their services going. Let's stop spending with them. 2-week challenge by Black family. I totally agree. We can make a major hell in 1 week. We can make a major dent, but we just won't do it. And again, Christmas is getting ready to come up, and we about to do it, right? And let's see. Pioneer says now you have Black judges and prosecutors in Mississippi. What's stopping one of them from charging Brett Favre for his crimes? Maybe white judges would overrule, but maybe they wouldn't. Yeah, why is he still running free? And Yikuboy says, I gotta go, fam, but I'll leave my email under your video. Shalom. Mosh Paka. I know I said that wrong, but yes, thank you so much for being here. We will see you next time. And Bomb Barbie, how you doing? Says, give her compensation, Chai, maybe a 2-piece and a biscuit from Popeye and send her on her way. Chai, okay. Pioneer says, Queen, you just sound like a coworker of mine. He said, instead of complaining about the Mexicans making money, cook some food and bring it in yourself. Problem is, it's against company policy. Well, how are they doing it? How are they able to do it and you can't do it? See, that's where I would love to be in that situation, because I sure will make sure if I ain't bringing it, they ain't bringing it either. For real. And do you work for a corporation? Facts Not Feeling says Mike Vick had a better arm, better scrambling ability, better awareness in the pocket, can turn certain loss of yards into explosive gain down the field. Favre is not even close to Vick. And Laura, how you doing?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Brett Favre was drafted to the Atlanta Falcons, and it didn't pan out there, and he was sent to Green Bay.
Laura, how you doing? Says, I encourage Black people not to go see the movie Till. It's an insult to Black people. The lady who was responsible for the death of Till served no jail time now, and nobody wants to go after her. So I agree with you on that.
Well, Whoopi Goldberg made a statement that this lady shouldn't be put in jail. That got Emmett Till killed, but yet they go after Bill Cosby. They go at, why is it that it's okay to go after the older Black people, but you don't want to go after the older white people? A crime is a crime, is it not, Demetra?
Yeah, but I mean, who the hell is Whoopi? Whoopi had her man running around in blackface making fun of her, so I don't think we should really be listening to much of anything what Whoopi got to say. I'm just saying. And Thunder says, yes, it's called True and the Free. That's what it is. The Freedom Paper Company had tissue. It's applied even when the pandemic was in full swing. Yeah, so it was reasonable, but I think for me, the shipping is what the issue was. And Shirley, how you doing? Says, I don't use cable either, just internet Wi-Fi. Yep, that's me too. You have a lot of streaming stuff you can benefit from. Kimmy says, what would go in the back, in the Black section of the grocery stores? That is a good point. I mean, because I'm going to try not to really get into this conversation much, but, we have this, they have this heated argument on Twitter against Africans and, stuff. So I guess we would have a soul food section, but ain't soul food the regular stuff you would go get all over the store, whether it's greens or ham or chicken or fish? Would you find that anywhere? So, I mean, I guess we have like certain barbecue sauces and glory greens.
Pig's feet, hog maws, hothead cheese. Some of that's regional. Yeah,
so I mean, the soul food is the stuff that's in a regular grocery store. So I think you raise a very good question. And Kiki says it's hard for Black-owned businesses in Florida too. I know Black people who tried to have businesses in Florida and they weren't prospering. They left Florida and moved to Atlanta and had better luck there. Yeah, and some of the places I think in the South that were just kind of I'm from Southern California, excuse me, but people in the South, I think their mindset not all, but just a little bit differently, because when I came to the South, I'm like, wow, all these Black businesses, because in California, we don't have a lot. We can see a Black business. I don't care if they're selling toothpicks. We're like, oh my God, there's a Black toothpick maker, But here it's like, oh, there's Black businesses everywhere. So you would think that there would be more that are flourishing with so many Black people here. You know what I mean? And Yikoboy says, I'll leave my email in your community tab. Okay. And then I'll try to remember to go look because I get a lot of notifications, but I will try to remember that. And Al, he says, whenever you see deli food are in the aisles and on the floor is the Black section of Walmart, you stupid. I mean,
but is he lying though?
Yeah, but that's why I said Walmart is the Black section. That you see most of us in Walmart than you do Target or any other store, right? And obviously because the prices are cheap. But I know quite a few people like, I'm not stepping into Walmart for nobody. I'm like, I'll go in there. If I ride Spirit, damn it, I'll go into Walmart.
Yeah. That's why I shop at Target, but now Target is starting to become suspect.
I mean, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, when I go shopping, I ain't going there for other people, you know, unless they doing like some shoot 'em ups or something like that. I'm not really up in there focusing on other people. I'm going there to get what I need to get, and I'm leaving. You know what I mean? And QT says, plus feel well, cured my ice cream craving, flavor ice it is. Yeah, you can do vegan ice cream, but yeah, milk has a lot of pus in it because, not to gross you out, but when they milk the cows, they're not just milking one cow once and saying, oh, okay, let's bring in another cow, because, you know, people drink a lot of milk, right? So a lot of times when they are milking the cows, their udders are so inflamed and infected. And while they're milking, the pus and the blood gets into the milk supply. I mean, come on, it's common sense, right? They're doing because they got milk in mass production. And so do you think they're, and not speaking to you, QT, I'm saying in general, y'all think that they are filtering out the blood and the pus? How would they do that? So yeah, some might drop in there and then they're feeding that to the consumer. Now, milk in and of itself, especially cow milk, it causes mucus. And that's why a lot of people are sick, because of the mucus in our bodies. But, you know, with all of the research and science and stuff out there, people still drinking milk. It's kind of it's an unconscious choice, I would think, because what I know about milk, I'm not putting a cup of milk to my mouth. I'm sorry. I'll drink almond milk or cashew milk or something like that, but I'm not going to drink no cow milk. I'm sorry.
Right. Well, if you guys go to the FDA thing when it regards to products, especially like cookies and grains and stuff like that, do you guys, I mean, you know, I know you guys have heard about this. They're allowed so many rat droppings in it per portion of the product. So it isn't something that's like new or something that's, you know, out there. I mean, they do allow certain things to be in there as long as it isn't past the recommended dosage, I guess. So, you know, it's not beyond the pale.
Absolutely. And so Pioneer, you said that it's a Latino that looks out for him. I tell on his ass too. I straight up call up the corporate and say, hey, if I can't bring no chicken leg sandwiches up in here, he can't be bringing no burritos either. What's the difference? That's what I would do. Michael said, Demetra and Donovan, what would a true Black healthcare, et cetera, what would it look like?
I mean, white healthcare. Okay, the white healthcare.
Yeah, I mean, and what they getting up in Congress, we want that healthcare. We want that package. And Pioneer says, excellent point, Brother Don. You go up to Walmart or of Mujer, and says, and we have an Asian and Mexican section, entire aisles dedicated to them and their food. But what about Afro-American foods? But as Kimmy said, what is that? What is Afro-American food? And Capricorn says, at this point, all I do is watch Black media. Sometimes I listen to my local medias, but mainly Black media. And then sometimes I listen to overseas media. Yeah, that's pretty much me too. I listen to a lot of Black media. I listen to a lot of older stuff where you know the good information is, and some newer stuff too. Don't get me wrong. And QT says Clinton MD boycotted 3 Asian restaurants that had been there for decades. When that video went viral, where the owner punched that lady, all 3 are closed now. So you talk about, I know you're talking about Maryland, where the owner actually threw a drink into the lady's face. And I'm actually friends with our brother Daryl, Rick, Daryl, however you want to call him. The biggest panther in the jungle is what he is known by there in, actually it's Milwaukee. I'm sorry, in Milwaukee. So maybe we're talking about different things, but in that particular situation, they went and shut the restaurant down. And they're actually working on a case too, where a young brother was choked by a white man because he accused him of stealing his bike. So they're planning some things to do there. So y'all stay tuned for that. I'm going to actually make a video on it as soon as he gives me the information. And Pioneer says, yes, sis, I work for a corporation. They can do it because Latinos look out for each other. They are breaking the rules. But Latinos in charge look out for the Latino workers. They protect them. Yeah, I would call corporate straight up. Bomb Barbie says, woo, child. Okay. Michael says, Demetra and Donovan, what do you mean that Black healthcare would be the same as white healthcare in terms of funding, delivery, etc.? Well, I mean, not to get all off into the healthcare situation because I'm not very well versed on that, but I want the one that Congress gets because we actually pay their salary. So why do they have a better healthcare package than we do? You know what I mean? And QT says they're still chasing Asada Shakur even to this day. Even has an award on her head. She's like 70, isn't she? Yes, she is in her 70s. And that was actually Chris Christie, the governor then of New Jersey. He actually upped it to like $3 million. But when Fidel Castro was alive, he was like, nah, we're not going to send her back. Y'all leave her alone. And so we over here in the States who are familiar with Asada, we say hands off of Asada. Do not go over there and bother her. So Cuba's like, she's here. Y'all leave her alone. Don't come over here. I wouldn't advise that you do it, right? But yeah, they're going along with the theory that her, Sandiata Akoli, and the other brother escapes my mind, so forgive me. I killed the New Jersey Turnpike, the officer that was on the New Jersey Turnpike, but there's a lot of evidence saying that they didn't do it. So, yep. Michael says corporate America has both people looking in for you and others getting jealous of your promotion. And King says it's not the law that if death occurs directly from a false accusation, that there are legal penalties, including up to life in prison. So, and I'm sorry, what is that? Because it was probably maybe something Donovan said. And Shirley says no pork, family, no pork. Absolutely is not good for you. I hear people talking about the divine swine. It's like, okay. And Honeydew says they have an ethnic aisle with Asian Caribbean products. Yep, I see it in almost every store. And Brother Donnie says we would have a whole aisle of Old Bay seasonal grits and red Kool-Aid. You crazy? And QT says I don't eat any of that stuff. Laugh out loud. I don't eat pork. I haven't eaten pork in so long that simply smelling it makes me nauseous. I totally agree with you. Letitia says let's do Target instead of Walmart's. Yeah, Target is a little bit higher up. I like to maximize my money, so I wouldn't do a Walmart. It ain't that bad. You know, you're going to see some bonnets, pajamas, house shoes and stuff. But I see white people in there wilding out too. So Walmart is just a special place, if you will. But I go in there and I like to save money. I know what I'm going there to get, and I leave, right? Kimmy says, I think about Flying Spirit only because of you, Demetra. Yeah, I mean, if you like saving money, then fly Spirit. I mean, what them other people doing ain't your business. You know what I mean? That's how I see. Like, I'm not
wait. If you fly Spirit, you may be a witness to a crime. You might get a subpoena for an assault charge.
Do I get a free flight? I'll testify if I get a free flight. Michael says, remember those people who are selling you out are the invisible hand. Good point. And Bomb Barbie says, eat the Ital Rasta food chai. The islands have the freshest food on the planet. I totally agree with you. Everywhere I've been outside the United States, the food has been marvelous. It's been fresh, right? You don't taste the what do you call it? The preservatives on the food like you do here. Very good. So I agree with you. And L Boogie, how you doing? And QT says, I am so glad I'm lactose intolerant. I drink almond milk anyway. He's laugh out loud. But actually, most of us are lactose intolerant. We're not meant to drink milk. And I think they said even especially Black people, we're all lactose intolerant. Some people just tolerate it better. But for the most part, it does have an adverse effect on our bodies. And let's see here. And Shirley says, I've never been a milk drinker. Yeah, me either. Not just a big giant cup of it. Don says dairy is harmful to Black people's health. Yep, see, I should have read that. And Capricorn says I like almond milk cookies. And QT says I told someone at work about the bugs and rat droppings. I remember reading that somewhere. Yep, the FDA allows a certain amount in your food because they can't totally get rid of it. Kimmy says, yikes, the udder is bloody. I watch a lot of cow care videos. Stop laughing. It's up to the dairy farmers. They are those that do the things the right way and those that don't. So, yeah, I agree. But the one that unless you're getting organic and all of that, where it's grass-fed, yeah, most of the time you're going to get milk that probably has some blood and pus in it. And Kiki says, yep, definitely the mindset. I remember years ago, sister had a beauty supply store across the street from an Asian beauty supply store. And every time I went in there, which was often, her store was empty across the street. Asian store would be full. I just shake my head. She ended up closing her store. Yep, I know a lot of Black-owned places that had the same situation. Across the street from an Asian or around the same area, and they would close because the sisters would be over there. Very sad. Brother Samuel, how you doing? You say milk is mucus. Yes, it is. It says the main ingredient is casein, which is also the main ingredient in Elmer's glue. Reference the book by Suzar, Drugs Masquerading as Food. Yes, I actually have heard that before. But yeah, people don't want that information. Pioneer says, don't want to build our own houses, cook our own food, grow our own food. Niggas would rather someone else do the work while they spend what little money they have in their pockets buying it. Yep, yes, indeed. I mean, honestly, like, where are the brothers that know how to build something from the ground up? I know Donovan can do it, but I'm talking about the brothers that can build something, that can, turn a screw or something. I'm just asking. And let's see here. Honeydew. No, that's not where I was. Yeah, Honeydew says humans are generally lactose intolerant. Some of us tolerate it more in ways of weight gain and bloating, which people don't realize is also a type of allergic reaction to milk. Yep, I should have read y'all comments. And QT says we have the power to remove and close businesses if we use our power. Yep. And Pioneer says, Queen, we have soul food in the stores and restaurants, but white folks are disguising it by calling it Southern cooking or Southern food instead of soul food, some spices and ways of preparing it. I totally agree, but we know what it is, right? Letitia said that's why it's reparation in their heads. We're rent-free in their heads 24/7. Yes, I knew it was coming, Pioneer. Said, speaking of food, I gotta go pick some now. Laugh out loud. What you making, by the way? And yes, y'all, if y'all could please like and subscribe and share, I would love you to death. And Clarence should say facts. And facts not feeling says long live Castro legacy and fight against imperialism. I totally agree. We should study Fidel and Che Guevara. I know history tells us they were bad people, but if you really research them, you're like, not so much, right? Hello, sunlight.
Always ask yourself this when it comes to the Cuba. Why is it that the white Cubans hate Castro so much and the 80% black Cubans love Castro so much? Do your research on that.
Absolutely. Okay. Oh, and Kimmy said regarding Till's accuser. And Letitia said they're discussing our reparations living in their heads. Kudos to us Negroes. Yep. Keep the pressure on. Capricorn, she says, I like Target. I like Target too. I just don't like the prices in relation to that of Walmart. Donovan, I'll let you answer Michael's question. And Letitia says, speak, judgment is here. And yes, I actually like the Brother Don, the Minister of Wellness. He is very energetic, to say the least, with the delivery of his information. I see he is actually putting out a lot more videos. And I do watch him from time to time. And Lunch Eyes, how are you doing? It says the female cows are forcibly assaulted so they can make milk, and they will tear the baby calf from the mother when it is born so that it won't drink the milk she makes. That is absolutely true. You also say, and the mother will cry for her baby calf that was taken from her long periods of time. Yep. And then she's feeding us the milk that is being made out of fear and despair and sadness. And we are ingesting that into our bodies. So that's another thing to think about. Facts Not Feeling says, remember the movie Malcolm X, Spike Lee or Denzel referred to white woman as pork in it. Yes. Wow. And Michael, he said Freeman Barrow would include Department of African American Education, Healthcare, and Human Resources. Okay. And Letitia, he says writing the wrong means tangibles, gold, silver, minerals against his chosen children. And Facts Not Feelings, she says, I don't drink milk, so no pus and no blood for me. Yes, indeed. That makes two of us. Don says, and let's not talk about chickens. Yeah, we got to get off that yard bird pimp. And let's see here. And Kiki says yes, and Letitia says it will be given reparations once we are off this land, family. That's biblical. Okay. Facts Not Feeling says, and whenever I pass an Asian nail store, I look in it and I see sisters trying not to make eye contact. They know it's wrong. They just don't care. Yeah. Anytime I pass one, I see a whole bunch of them up in there. It's like, what you doing in there? But like I said, they don't care. Be easy, that dude. How are you doing? And Letitia says, but we must keep fighting, demanding as warriors as we are those people. Yes, indeed. And Kiki says, those be the sexy men too, the men who work with their hands and build those suits and ties. Just don't compare. No offense. Laugh out loud. I like them both. Some dudes in the suits and ties, they can build too. I like them both. But yeah, we need to get back to that with the men that know how to build some. Oh, the plumbing is out. Oh, don't worry. Hey, go give me my toolbox, honey. I got it. Okay. For real. All right, so let's see here. Big Rich, you say, did anybody remember milk does a body good? What a lie. Yes, I have heard that lie before. Yes, indeed. All right, so we're going to actually get to that of Herschel Walker. And Capricorn says all these people know how to do is rob and kill. Got you. Clarence says how T with international delight. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get into this talk about that of Herschel Walker and Senator Ralph Warnock. As you guys may or may not know, the debate took place on Friday, where they had their first and only debate. Originally, Herschel Walker seemed to be dodging that of Ralph Warnock. And then a couple of weeks ago, we saw where Herschel Walker, obviously you guys know he's an ex-NFL player. Ralph Warnock is the senator now of Georgia. But Herschel Walker was like, well, I know he's going to embarrass me, but that's okay. I'll show up. I'll do my best, you know. And so the debate actually took place on this Friday. And I was really surprised because Ralph Warnock ran around. He even has, you know, these campaign commercials. He's running around the track and he's running all over the place. And he was just, you know, jumping the gun like, oh, you know, I'm going to show up. And I'm paraphrasing at this point, but I'm going to, you know, run circles around Walker because he doesn't know what he's talking about. Couch people, you know, said that Walker was stupid and all kind of stuff. Well, Herschel showed up and, you know, it showed a different story. Now, I admit he didn't really answer all of the questions, but neither did Ralphie boy. Ralphie didn't answer all of the questions either. He dodged the questions. And the one that I really like is when they got to the part of about Planned Parenthood and you know, the new abortion laws and things like that. Ralph Warnock, who was the Reverend, he said he is for pro deletion, if you will, of babies. And then Herschel Walker was like, well, instead of you getting rid of them, you should be baptizing these babies, you know. And I was like, ooh, wow, right? And then even that of Ralph Warnock, I don't know why he thought he was just going to walk in there and just, you know, just answer all the questions and just be done with it. But when they asked him about a building that he owns, I guess it's an apartment building, and it has been documented and verified, I guess, that he has evicted people who were behind even as much as $30 in rent. And so he didn't answer the question. He danced all around the question and basically said it was not true. And Herschel was like, it is true. Now he's like, now who's lying? Like, you're lying. But even when it came to asking Ralph Warnock questions about his child support and all that, because, you know, they've been making a big deal out of Herschel Walker's child support, and he paid for, you know, a baby to not be here with his ex-girlfriend. And so when they asked Ralph some of those questions that were kind of not necessarily about the deletion of babies, but when they asked him those things, he was just like, not one answer. It's not true. You know, oh yeah, you know, they'll make up stuff. And the other thing he kept doing too, and I'm just kind of giving my synopsis, you guys, and I'm reading, hello, Eli. The other thing that I found that Ralph Warnock kept doing was he kept bringing up that of MLK. And it's like, I know you're sitting at the church, Ebenezer Baptist Church, where MLK was, but MLK ain't running. He kept talking about, oh, you know, Martin Luther King's church. I mean, you know, it's like, why do you keep bringing up MLK? And MLK has been gone, what, close to 60 years now. And so it's like, okay, for one thing, you resting on pretty. You talking about MLK. He can't, like, what does that really do for anybody? But he never really answered the question as far as what he is doing for people. And so in regards to Walker, yeah, he skirted around a lot of the topics, but as someone who is very versed in argumentation and debate, Walker, that wasn't Walker's debate to win per se, because everybody already, well, actually it was his debate to win because people already had him pegged to lose, right? So it was Warnock's debate to win, or to lose rather. It was supposed to be nothing he could do to mess it up. And so he underestimated that of Walker, thought he was going to show up, rope-a-dope him, and then leave. But then you could tell that Walker had knocked the wind out of Warnock, because Warnock was kind of like taking it back. Like, oh, damn, I thought I was going to show up here, and I thought I was going to just handle this dude, but he kept fighting back. Like the other one, where Ralph Warnock was talking about Herschel and the PPP loans and his buddies and stuff. Herschel was like, wait a damn minute. The church got a PPP loan. Ralph Warnock's church got a PPP loan. So I think that Ralph Warnock showed up not thinking that Herschel was going to know any of that stuff. He thought he was going to get what they've been telling him, that Herschel was I think that's what he thought it was going to show up, and it just knocked the wind out of his sails. So Herschel did not have to be exceptional. Ralph had to be exceptional. Ralph was not exceptional, and he allowed Walker, no pun intended, to walk in there, steal his thunder, and leave him. He did Walker, and I'm going to say this. He did Warnock so bad that Warnock took to Twitter all night long after that debate, trying to convince people, oh, well, Walker is not the guy he's not the guy for the job. It's like, nah, you should have did all of that while he was on the stage, not on Twitter, buddy. So Donovan, what's saying you? I'm gonna get to y'all.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the first thing that I said when I saw the debates, because, you know, I'm a political person, you're a political person, is it was Walker's job to meet expectations. Walker met all my expectations. I wasn't expecting nothing spectacular from Herschel Walker. If anything, I wanted to hear some concrete stuff from Ralph Warnock. And if you looked at it, he was stuttering when he was being backed up and stuff. And the one thing they had asked Ralph Warnock, and they asked both candidates, they had asked Ralph Warnock, if Biden runs, are you going to support him? Now, we all know the president is the leader of whatever party he's a part of. This man, who's supposed to be a pastor, couldn't even answer that question. Now, remember, Tanji Brown couldn't define what a woman was. So, I mean, I look at these black politicians, and I got to be concerned about the black ones, because those are the ones that I closely identify with. When they can't answer simple questions that are basically a layup, I have a problem with that. Now, when they went to Herschel Walker and said, would you, if Trump runs, would you vote for him? He answered it very clearly. Yes, I would. He's my friend. I mean, this goes to show you when you look at Ralph Warnock, I mean, the man's funny looking as it is already. You know, to me, he looks like a caricature or something, but the man just doesn't want to tell the truth. And he's a pastor. How many of you guys saw Marcel Dixon when Marcel Dixon confronted him? He didn't even want to talk to Marcel Dixon. He didn't want to, you know, anything that had to do with the black issues. But this man expects you Georgians, if you're from Georgia, to send him back to the Senate. To do what? Just like Herschel Walker said, send you back to the Senate to do what? To be a lapdog for Joe Biden, which we know Walker most likely will be a lapdog for the Republican Party. But see, we already know that. This man is the one that keeps saying, I'm fighting for Georgia. I'm fighting for Georgia. What have you fought for? What bill has your name on it? Nothing. And then the capper to it of me was when it came out that he gets a $7,000 housing stipend from the church. $7,000 from the church. I could see why he didn't want to give up his pastoring duties at the church and still try to be a senator. Georgia, put it like this. Both of these candidates are not for reparations. They're on record saying so. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. So if it was me, Demetra, and I was voting, I would do a protest vote myself, and I would vote for Herschel Walker, because obviously the Democrats say that they're not for reparations. Ralph Warnock has said he's not for reparations. Herschel Walker came out straight out and told me he's not for reparations, but this guy's playing the game. Sorry. This guy over here is playing the game like he's for reparations when he's really not. So I would vote for Herschel Walker as a protest vote. And if the Democrats want anything, let them go to the Asians, let them go to the Afghans, let them go to all these people that they've done stuff for, and let them vote for them. The black vote is the deciding factor. So if you don't have my vote, Stacey Abrams, all of them, the Democrats need to lose a few election cycles before we really F with them anymore.
Yes, as I'm just trying to put some of y'all comments up, but absolutely, they did, and I agree with you. I think maybe that was part of the strategy, is to have Walker so befuddled everywhere he goes. I'm like, damn, he either got some good debate coaches, or he was pulling the fast one, because neither one of them answered the questions right. And as I said, Warnock he had the wind knocked out of him. He didn't know what to do. He thought he was going to go in there and he was just going to just make mincemeat of the dude. And Well, Walker was like, you thought, and so I
Well, let me ask you this real quick. When he pulled out that badge, you're a debate person and you've worked with candidates in debating. I mean, Demetra was so good at working with the girl that was debating, and some people at debating. This one particular girl, she was so good at it. She was getting all the zingers in and stuff like that. The girl wouldn't stop. She wouldn't be quiet. So when Walker pulled out the badge, well, what did you think of that?
I thought it was funny. And I thought it was a way to actually steal the momentum from that of Warnock, because he's saying he's not a police officer. I don't know that he is. I didn't think that Herschel was.
Well, the honorary, and they give those little badges out. It's kind of like when you get on a plane. How many of you guys have been on a plane and you have your little kid or your nephew or your aunt, your little niece with you, and they go to the cockpit or the flight deck, and they give them the little plastic wings? It's equivalent to that. If that's what it's equivalent to.
Right. So whether, the legitimacy of it, I thought it was funny, and I thought it was, I think that was also done to take more wind out of Warnock's sail. It's like, oh my God, I'm trying to come off as the sweetheart of the debate stage, and this fool won't let me because he's bringing out badges and, all of that. But I loved it because, like I said, I actually train people to debate, as specifically political candidates. And I loved I love debates. I really do, because I just loved, I'm an underdog person too. And yes, before I started watching the debate, I was like, yeah, Walker's probably going to get a hand to him. But then when he was on top of, maybe he didn't answer the questions the way he was supposed to. But again, we already expected that of Walker. Come on now. How many of us really expected him to do a lot worse than he did? All of us did. And when he got up there and he, was going toe to toe with Warnock, and to the point Warnock was like, somebody get him. I mean, it was even to the point to where Warnock was cutting him off. See, when your opponent gets to doing that kind of stuff, they've lost, because what Walker was doing, he was like, okay, that ain't true. And let me tell you why it ain't true. And then Warnock had to come back and say, well, wait, nah, I gotta answer that, And then the one thing that I did not like, I don't know, the sister that was doing the moderating, I did not like. It really chapped my hide when she tried to castigate Walker and saying, now, what were you told? What were you told before you got on this stage? You were told that. I was like, oh, no, back it down, sister, because regardless of whether you like what Walker is doing, you should not try to emasculate this man. That is a fully grown man on the stage. He ain't the first person, or even if she would have did that to Warnock, they wouldn't be the first to cut each other off. But what was you told? You know better. You wasn't supposed to be. I was like, oh, nah, sister, you doing a little bit too much.
Demetra, that's how Black women talk to Black men. You're not used to that?
Nah.
I mean, fellas, am I right or wrong? That's how we're talked to. No, I'm joking. I'm just messing around.
Don't get me started, Donovan, because here I am as a Black woman saying that woman was wrong for talking to him like that, But so I loved every moment of it. I thought it was great debate. I think it'll go down as a good lesson in a lot of debate classes of what not to do. Never, ever, 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 ever
underestimate.
Never underestimate your opponent in thinking, I got this handled. Because anybody who's done a little bit of research on Warnock, you would be able to tell you that his record, as far as being a human, ain't that much better than Walker's. It ain't that much better. And the other thing is this: what people don't realize is, in a debate or even in a campaign, who has more things against them? And when we're talking politically speaking,
the incumbent,
because they actually have a record to run on. Walker doesn't have a record. He just has personal stuff that they can bring up. But so it comes an argument of, well, are we mad at the things that Walker has said in public and done in his personal life? Or are we more mad at what the incumbent has or has not done for us? So that's where I think that Warnock's people fell short, in that you need to go out there and defend your record. he's probably going to say A, B, C, and D, and you need to learn how to defend it. But again, he thought he was going to walk out there and just run all over the dude, and that wasn't the case. And if you ask me, I know a lot of people don't like it. I believe that Walker won that hands down. He did.
Absolutely. And then tomorrow, Stacey Abrams and Kemp, they're going to be debating as well. So, I know a lot of people aren't politically minded, but if you really look at these debates, it tells you a lot about the candidates themselves. And like I said, it isn't really a matter of answering the question. There is no like right or wrong way to answer the question. If somebody's answering you a question, giving you a question, and you answer it honestly, that's what people want to hear. Like I said, a lot of what Herschel answered, I didn't agree with, but I respected it because it was an honest answer. I mean, Ralph Warnock, I didn't hear not one honest answer out of this man. It was just everything was a politician. It was politician. It was a politician. Whereas Herschel came off more as a person, like, yeah, I'm flawed. I'm just like everybody else. I've made some mistakes. But like you said, if we're going to go about the personal thing, Ralph Warnock, he has issues. He's going through or went through a divorce and has some issues with that and all kinds of stuff. So we can't throw stones and then hide our hand. But I did look up the dissociative disorder thing that Herschel Walker had. Now, what it is for those that didn't know, and I wasn't aware of this, I thought it was something new. It's remember the old multiple personality syndrome? You had the movies like Sybil and stuff like that. That's what Herschel basically has, multiple personalities. And if you looked at him sometimes when he was answering a question against Warnock, I was wondering as he was biting his lip, he was like, I'm about to get a can of whoop ass out on this boy. You keep it up. You keep going. So it made me wonder what personality he was under. But hands down, if you really, really looked at that debate in an honest spectrum and not being the Democrat that most likely most of you guys are, Walker won that debate. Clear, he met the expectations. The expectations were very low for Walker, and the expectations for Warnock was high, and Warnock did not meet his expectations of what we would think an incumbent and a pastor who's supposed to be really good with words. I mean, he was stuttering the whole time.
The other thing that I think that Warnock fell short of, I was like, what's going on out there? The wind is blowing a little bit. I think that Warnock fell short of is if I close my eyes, he sounded just like Obama. The tonation, the things that he was saying, that he kept using the word hope. I was like, did this Negro go get Obama's talking points, dust them off, and rewrite them a little bit? Because he was sounding just like Obama. And I'm like, dude, like that happened to us as Black people. I know we're not in Georgia, but that happened to us as Black people twice with Obama. And here you are dusting off the same old thing. He leaned on, MLK, and he didn't, I don't think he mentioned Obama. Well, this was, to me, this was the final nail in the coffin. At the end, y'all remember when they asked the lady, and somebody said thought she did a fairly good job. I think she did a fairly good job. I just didn't like that part of it when she kind of went a little too hard in the paint on Walker. What were you told? Type of thing. I was like, I don't know about that. But I think this was the nail in the coffin for Warnock. Is at the end when they said, yes or no, would you vote for, would you want Biden to run again? And he was like, well, I don't focus on that. I'm thinking about my campaign. I'm like, answer the question. And when they asked Walker, if Trump ran again, would you be for that? He said, yes. And he also pointed out, why couldn't he answer the question? You know what I mean? So that goes to show to me, of course, he wouldn't be for Biden running again, but I'm like, damn, man, you could have just said yes. But that to me also went to his credibility. Well, I'm just thinking about my campaign as he was trying to sound like Obama. But I was like, man, Warnock, and I don't live in Georgia, so I can't vote for either one of them. Do I think that Herschel Walker's got a few screws loose? Yeah, sure. I'm not gonna lie to kick it. Yeah, I think he's got some issues going on, cognitively speaking. But since he is the one that they say, and he said it too, that he's got some issues going on mentally, Warnock should have been up there easily handling the situation, but he wasn't. And I call this the syndrome as when I'm training people, don't rest on pretty. What I mean by rest on pretty, I actually got that from Tyra Banks. When she was doing America's Next Top Model, she was telling the models, you got to be something other than pretty. Don't just rest on pretty in that, well, I'm the senator now, and y'all should keep me in office. And I give you, not to put my boy on the spot, I tell the story a lot, and Donovan knows, when he was first running for city council, I was his campaign manager and his, coach and all that. I was everything, right? I was doing everything, but whatever. So we went to campaign outside of a grocery store. And I kept telling this Negro, stop telling people first. When they say, why should I vote for you, Donovan? What was you telling them? What was the first thing that would come out of your mouth?
Because I'm good looking.
Nah, that was second. He kept saying, he kept saying, I'm a veteran. And I said, stop leading with I'm a veteran. I don't know if you remember this. So he was outside the grocery store, and we were campaigning there because that's where a lot of people were in his district at the grocery store. And so this guy comes up. I said, okay, there's a guy. Go talk to him. So Donovan went to talk to him. He handed him his, literature. And so the guy says, why should I vote for you? And I was like, this Negro said, well, because for one, I'm a veteran. Do you remember the guy? He says, I don't give a fuck. He says, I don't give a F if you a veteran. I'm a veteran too. What has that got to do with anything? And then when Donovan was like, oh, okay. Then he got back on to the things that we talked about. And the dude said, what did the guy say after you got there talking to him?
He said, why did you say that in the first place?
And he said, you got my vote. But I kept telling him, don't rest on pretty and try to say, I'm a veteran. Like, okay. So I think he stopped doing that once the dude came out of a bag.
But Demetra and I used to have major debates. I went to this other debate. It was at a church. And I was always wearing my veteran hat, my pin is letting people know I'm veteran. And Demetra was like, oh, don't wear the hat, just go in there. Now, the people that were at the debate, there was like 4 of us or 5 of us at the debate. So I took my hat off and I put it on the table. And I was the only one that had that. And a lot of people in that church were veterans because I live near a military installation. And based on that, a lot of the veterans kind of agreed with me and kind of where I was saying. So I got a lot of people after the debate was over that would come up to me and say, oh, I'm in the Army or whatever. We were talking and stuff like that. Oh, you got my vote. And because of Demetra's tagging, when I was talking in the debate, I didn't really bring up my veteran status, but I knew it was important to let people know one of the differences between me and my opponents was that I was a veteran. But I stopped using the veteran tag to lead.
Yeah, and Rain says, I will vote for Donovan alone on looks, for Donovan alone, from looks alone. Okay, well, okay. KT says, I bet that'll work. That was a trip. Donovan is something, and yes, he's one of the dudes we want in office. Laugh out loud. Yes, indeed. But that's just what I do, right? Because like I said, I studied it. Obviously, y'all know I'm pretty good at argumentation and debate. But when I work with people, I break it down. It's with love, though, because I know that when you get on the stage, because I know what it's like to be on the stage, and then you have, you got opponents, and they're saying this, and you get these questions come at you. So you got to know who you are, why you're running, and stick to that. Otherwise, you'll be all over the place. And so and
a quick disclaimer: Demetra wants her money up front. She don't play around with the money. Okay, so there ain't no discounts. There ain't none of that. She wants her money. This is her price. Blah blah blah. And let me tell you guys, when I ran, Demetra and I got in a bunch of arguments in regards to the whole thing. But guess what? At the end of the day, I take her counsel, but I'm the boss, and we're going to go with what I think is best. And all she can do is just roll with it. And that's it.
Yeah, and I tell people that all the time, but I also say this, that I ain't going to attach my name to just any old body who going to be like, well, yeah, I'm paying you, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm like, you ain't going to do what you want to do with my name attached to it. Because the last thing I want somebody to say is, well, who's working with you? Oh, Demetra. Oh, well, we'll make sure we don't hire her no more. Nah, hell to the no. Because I've had to tell people no, because I don't want to work with people who are just, like, I can't say nothing to them. Now, I had a candidate, God love him. God love him. Older guy. And I worked with him a copious amount of hours, and we were good. I thought we were good. He was going to get up there like Rocky. Da-da, da, da-da. He got up there and
was that the one at the golf course
yes.
thing? Yeah, because we were covering it on the radio, so he caved.
Because whenever I first work with people, the first question I ask is, "Why are you running?" He told me, "It's time." I said, "It's time for what?" It's time for me to run. I said, "Why?" Well, because it's just time. I said, "Nah, that ain't gonna fly. That ain't gonna fly." So we, worked together. He had it all down. Do you know what this nigga? He got up down that stage and did. When they asked him, "Why are you running?" "Well, it's time." I was like, "Oh, hell to the no."
And I remember because at that point, that was when his campaign was over. At that point.
So yeah. So that's right. DemetraKAye. I do want my money.
Look, I even asked him, can I just get a payment plan with you or something? Negroes always want a discount or something. Good for Demetra, because I needed some of the money to run my campaign and buy signs and stuff like that. So Demetra worked with me and we did a payment plan, but she wanted her money on the days I was supposed to pay, period.
Yeah, and Donovan was good. That's my homie, but yeah, so I love campaign season. I love watching debates. I like to critique them, tear them apart, and see how the person received the information they might have been getting. Because don't y'all think for one moment that those candidates get up there and they just, well, I'm just going to answer the question the way I see fit. No, they work with their people for hours and hours and hours, and they grill them on every which way, every scenario that could come up, which is why I don't understand how Warnock, I know what the problem was with Warnock. If I could guess what Warnock's issue was, is that he is a reverend. He speaks in one of the biggest churches or most popular churches ever. Plus, he's a senator. So he was probably like, I got this. I speak all the time. But he underestimated his opponent, which was, I bet you right now he's begging and wishing that they can have another debate. But Herschel's like, I don't need to do that. I already proved you wrong once. I ain't going to give you a chance to get me, So anyway, let me get to these comments before we get out of here. And Rain says, DemetraKAye. I know that's right. Yes. QT says, she'd be like, oh, hell no. I don't know that exactly. I sat and I was in the front row too. I was like,
don't forget to vote for the commish.
Cute, very cute, older gentleman, very cute, And I was like,
wait. You forgot to tell them this part. I know we're a little over time, but you got to tell them this part because it's just important. When it was time to get paid, what did this man tell you? And the other groups that he worked with.
I'm friends with the commish.
Oh, no. But okay. Let me just say it like this. And my point is this. We as a people have to, treat it as a business. I mean, I know we're always looking for a discount, but sometimes Demetra's running a business. So, it is what it is. And, the other groups got paid. So why shouldn't she get paid? I mean, I'm very sure she'll work with it because she worked with me, but she needs her money to what it was. Now, Demetra, I didn't think it was right. You're charging me $15,000 a month on a 3-month campaign, but it is what it is.
Absolutely. QT says, I'm the same exact way. I have added on apps and I do work for facilities where they are short staffed as well as home health gig. And you better believe I want my money. Yeah. Because the thing is, especially for those of us who are in the intellectual type of field, when I say intellectual properties, intellectual work is, I give a service. And so I can't repossess that or, that kind of stuff. And so sometimes, when you give people the information, they kind of want to stutter on paying you. And so I'm very careful about that now. But I would just say to any of y'all, if y'all are, and that's what I do. I am in public relations and I help people to develop a message and I show them how to deliver it to their audience, whether you are campaigning, you are a salesperson, you are a business person, you are interviewing, whatever it is, everybody needs to learn how to speak to somebody in some way, shape, or form. So that's what I do. I work with people to teach them how to come across more effectively to their audience. I can't tell you how many artists, up and coming artists, none that you guys know of specifically in the Inland Empire in California that I've worked with. And the first question I asked them, tell me about yourself. Well,
No. That's not the first thing you ask. The first thing you ask, that's the second thing you ask. First thing you ask is there anything I need to know?
But that's in regards to like campaign. If I'm working with people who are campaign political candidates, if you will, I'll ask them, what is there anything that I need to know that might come back and we'll have to walk back? I don't care what it is. Is there anything I need to know that you've done in your past that may come back to haunt you? And I said, it doesn't do you any good to lie to me. I don't have a dog in a fight. But if you are serious about campaigning and getting out there and winning, you need to tell me so that we can work with every scenario that may come up. You that may have a DUI or something. I need to know that. So if they come up, hey, is it true that you had a DUI? How are you going to be responsible for your district if you are not responsible behind the wheel? So I would, teach them how to answer that question. Don't run from it. Answer it, because if you don't tell me and somebody else knows and you get hit with that question, well, we didn't prepare for how to answer for it. So the first thing you're probably going to do is lie or minimize what you've done. So that's just some of what I do. I know y'all see me on here, as a content creator, but I also work with people. I do negotiations. I do a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes, really just to try to help people. So anyway, yes, you know what, LS, it's funny you say that. My mom used to always say that that I am a fixer. So I kind of just took that on, if you will. So anyway, y'all, we could be here forever talking, but we love and appreciate y'all. We will see y'all next week. Again, Donovan and I are going to, on our Tuesday podcast, we are going to play this game, date night game. We are going to answer these questions, both of him, just to really kind of see how we think about certain scenarios and things. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So y'all stay tuned for that. We'll put it up as soon as we're done with that. Anyway, we have a Cash App, PayPal, Venmo. If you guys want to donate to the channel, to Donovan, I think he put his stuff in the chat. Every little bit helps, but at the very least, subscribe and like the video. We will see y'all, of course, Wealth Wednesdays with Walter. We will be live answering your financial questions with Crazy Walter. So anyway, I love and appreciate y'all very much. See y'all later. Peace.